Styles is more than the main human of Scott's pack/Beacon Hills. He's the heart. So what happens when he's not only taken but erased from existence? That's the question this season will have to answer after that emotional premiere. We catch up first with Liam and Hayden, who are on the most recent of what's apparently a string of horrible dates. This one doesn't appear to be their worst, at least until a car comes rolling past them with a shattered windshield, a scared kid in the back seat, and the promise of a new evil lurking in Beacon Hills. Talk about setting the mood. See also: watch, Teen Wolf cast plays Truth or Dare at EU Pop Fest. Teen Wolf stars open up about final season. Watch, Teen Wolf cast talks life without Styles, Malia is out of control. Now playing. While Liam and Hayden work on getting the kid, whose parents were taken, to safety, Styles and Scott are doing their best to help the police across town. Their latest heroic act? Crashing a van full of stolen helium. So yet, maybe Beacon Hills doesn't need them anymore? Just kidding. It still does, because Scott has to use his claws to get inside the poor kid Alex's head and find out what happened to his parents. Once inside Alex's head, Scott gets his first look at the Ghost Riders, the creepy guys on horseback who took Alex's parents. However, as soon as Scott leaves Alex's mind, he can't remember everything he saw. The only thing that's certain at this point is that the Ghost Riders will be back for Alex. With that in mind, Alex asks to be locked up in an actual jail cell while Scott gets the pack together to try to find answers. Malia seems to think that Alex's parents are dead, but Lydia claims she would know if that were the case. More importantly, Scott's not convinced this case is even supernatural. It's been 3 months since anything happened in Beacon Hills, and it has Styles going a little crazy. In typical Styles fashion, he's been claiming that everything is supernatural lately. But he might be right on this one. Once Scott realizes that whatever bullet was used in this case had the capability to blow out an entire windshield and leave behind a blue residue, he agrees to look into it with Styles. Well, that's if he can get past Mrs. Martin. After missing 38 classes last year, she's doing everything she can to make sure Scott graduates, and that means the sworn protector of Beacon Hills is going to have to wait until 3:30 p.m. to check out Alex's house. And Scott's not the only person super into learning this year. Both Hayden and Corey are sitting at attention in class thanks to new teacher Mr. Douglas, who is all kinds of attractive. But there is one thing that overshadows his beautiful blue eyes: the fact that cell phones aren't able to geolocate, something Mason picks up on. Thankfully, hot teacher has a compass, so after Corey swipes it, Mason and Liam decide to follow it. It leads them straight to Alex's house, where Scott and Styles are currently snooping around. The place looks abandoned, except for Alex's room, which looks perfectly put together and lived in, except for the fact that all of his photos only feature him, and let's just say this kid is too young to be that into selfies. Styles stays behind after Scott leaves the room to check out the photos, but that leaves him vulnerable. When the Ghost Rider shows up, Styles is the only one there to see him. The good news is that the Ghost Rider is a terrible shot and somehow manages to miss Styles multiple times from close range. The bad news is that Styles saw him. And as soon as the rider leaves, Alex's room is erased. Back at the school, Lydia and Styles realize what's happening. When Lydia starts quoting the song "Riders on the Storm," she makes the connection, the Ghost Riders come with the Wild Hunt and they take people. Styles takes that information straight to Scott, who's leaving lacrosse practice, which no one told Styles about. Also, why is some kid wearing Styles' jersey? Yep, this isn't good. Scott and Styles realize Alex must be next, but by the time they get to the police station, he's already been erased. Furthermore, no one even remembers him coming in. So who's next? Well, Styles. But they haven't figured that out yet. Scott and Styles thinks Liam and Hayden must be next, so they head back to the school, where Liam, Hayden, and Mason have just discovered a dead body in the boiler room. See also. Watch, Teen Wolf cast plays Truth or Dare at EU Pop Fest. Teen Wolf stars open up about final season. Watch, Teen Wolf cast talks life without Styles, Malia is out of control. Now playing. And here's where things really start to go south. Scott and Styles separate, and before Styles can say something to Scott, the true Alpha says the one thing that ensures Styles will be taken, tell me later. No. Just like that, everyone starts to forget Styles. First, Mrs. Martin doesn't recognize him. Then it's Liam, Mason, and Hayden acting like Styles doesn't even go to their school. And then, worst of all, Stilinski doesn't know his own son. Styles calls Scott in a panic, only to hear his best friend ask him, "Who's this?" But then there's Lydia. The moment Malia forgets Styles, Lydia realizes what's happening and runs to find him. Just as she promises not to leave him, the Ghost Riders arrive. Styles leads Lydia to Roscoe, but before he starts the engine, he realizes that no matter what he does, he's going to be taken. Then we get this. Styles, you're gonna forget me. Lydia, I won't. Styles, you will. Styles tells Lydia to find some way to remember him. Then, Stadia fans get the moment they've waited for since season 1. Styles tells Lydia that she was the first girl he ever danced with, and the girl he had a crush on freshman, sophomore, and junior year. She's the girl who saved his life, and he saved hers. Most importantly, just remember I love you, Styles says seconds before he's taken. Guys, I've watched this moment multiple times now and it always gives me chills. He finally said it, and it couldn't have been a more perfect goodbye. The next day, Lydia shows up at school feeling like she was supposed to do something. But she can't remember what. Altogether, I really enjoyed this hour. As much as I'm bummed to lose Styles, I am so excited to watch how that loss impacts everyone in Beacon Hills and their journey to, eventually, remember him. Just for that final Stadia moment alone, I have to give this episode